Welcome to Inside Bristol. I'm your host, Sheridan Nichols, and kicking off today's show, I've got Emily Champagne with us, talking about something that all of us love here in Bristol, and that is the Border Bash. I can't believe it's been 20 years.
20 years of Border Bash.
20 years. I would love to meet some of the people who've been going every single year and haven't missed one. I wonder if there's someone out there like that. We need to find them.
We have some of our promotions committee members have been a part of Border Bash since the very beginning, before it was even called Border Bash, when it was almost an entirely different event series. And it's really cool to hear them talk about how proud they are of what it's grown into and kind of how things have changed for the better along the way.
Yeah, so tell us about, if you haven't ever been to Border Bash, you can go this summer. It's kicking off very soon.
Yes, our first Border Bash is May 17th. It runs through August 2nd. It is 2 Fridays of each month, with the exception of we only have one in May this year. But it's just a really fun, family-friendly event. It rotates down the blocks of State Street, so we'll have 2 events at the downtown center, 2 at the intersection of Piedmont and State, and 1 will be at the 500 block of State Street. And then our 4th of July event is, of course, in Cumberland Square Park, and that's our biggest Border Bash. It's also our longest Border Bash. We're really excited this year because our 4th of July band, we have the Cleverleys coming for July 4th, so that's going to be a lot of fun.
If we want to know who all is playing, how do we find out?
So Border Bash has its very own Facebook page. You can go at any time, just get on Facebook, type in Border Bash, go to the event page, and we'll have not only everyone who's coming, but we'll have the exact dates that they'll be there and the order in which they'll play. Most of our Border Bash events feature 2 artists.
And what's your favorite part of Border Bash?
I just really love the atmosphere that Border Bash creates for downtown. We have food vendors come out, arts and crafts vendors. We have a lot of fun activities for kids. And it's just really nice to kind of get everyone together for like a little downtown block party.
Tell us the times of Border Bash.
So most of our events, the vendors are all set up with fun activities and food starting at 6:30. The first band will start at 7 and the event will end around 10 p.m. For the 4th of July, we start a little bit earlier, kind of earlier in the afternoon. So all the vendors and everything will be set up by 5:30. And then between 10 and 10:30, we'll have our big fireworks display.
Oh, it's so exciting. Well, Emily, thank you so much for joining us today
Thank you.
and for sharing everything with us. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back to Inside Bristol. I'm your host, Sheridan Nichols, and I have Justin Brown with me today from the Bristol Tattoo Company. Welcome.
Yes, thank you.
Well, this is a first. This is exciting to have you on the show, and we're talking about a festival that's coming up. Tell us about this.
Well, we are hosting our first tattoo convention in downtown. It's going to be above the 620 restaurant in the Foundation, and we're going to have 70 tattooers from all over the country coming and tattooing all weekend.
Wow. Now, how long have you been tattooing?
I actually just celebrated my 10th year.
Wow. Well, we can tell you've got lots of great artwork on your arms. How do you decide? I always feel like that's one of the tougher decisions on deciding where to put it and what to put.
I think the first one is maybe the decision making, and maybe the first couple after that, and now it just gets to the point where it's cool stuff.
So what gave you this idea to bring a festival to Bristol?
I travel and do tattoo conventions around the country with some friends, and I met a gentleman named Scotty Whitaker. He's actually from Bristol, and this is what he has done for the last 10 years, is travel pretty much the world and set them up. And when him and I met and he saw that I was opening a shop in Bristol and everything else, we started talking. He wanted to do a show in his hometown. So we've actually been working on this probably for about 3 years, because it was right before I opened my shop. Wow. So it's finally, it's finally happening.
Tell us a little bit more details about the festival.
Well, so a tattoo convention, it's set up basically the same thing as like a craft fair or a job fair, where there's all separate booths and everything throughout the hall. It's the same setup, except every booth has at least 2 tattooers in it tattooing. And like I said before, they're from all over the country. We have people coming from San Francisco, Denver, Pennsylvania, Florida, Louisiana. I mean, literally coming from all over the country. And you walk around and, if you find someone that you like and they have time to tattoo you, you sit down and get tattooed. The event will be, like I said, it's at the foundation above 620, and it'll be May 24, 25, and 26.
So there's a few days options in case you're busy for one of those days. You can come out another day. How long does it generally take to get a tattoo?
It all depends on what it is. I mean, even the smallest tattoo, just to set up and fill out paperwork and everything, you're talking 30 to 45 minutes.
Well, that's exciting. Well, we're really glad you came on the show today. Is there anything I'm missing that you'd like to add?
Yes. So Believe in Bristol and All American Food Fights is closing down Piedmont Street during the tattoo convention, and they're going to have a wing war. So they're getting all the downtown restaurants and everything to make some chicken wings and have a good time. So that's going to be going on, like I said, on Saturday during the tattoo convention.
Oh, how fun. Well, I'm sure you'll get a really great turnout.
We're hoping, yes.
Thank you so much for coming. And I
Yes,
love
ma'am.
the t-shirts.
Thank you.
We're going to be able to
Yes.
buy these?
Well, this is mine from my shop.
Okay.
We will have convention t-shirts available. One of them, it's our main logo here. It's from a gentleman that's in San Francisco named Danny Boy Smith. And then we had a special design made by a gentleman named Dave Tevenall. So we'll have those t-shirts available.
Well, thank you so much for being on today. And thank you for tuning in. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Inside Bristol. I'm your host, Sheridan Nichols, and I have Heather Moore here with me today. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm so excited to have Heather on the show because we are talking about the importance of making Bristol just an amazing place for our senior citizens. And one of the first steps of doing that is a survey, and that is available now for seniors. Tell us a little bit about this strategy of getting seniors and people involved to take a survey and how that's going to help you.
Two departments have received the goal to assess the needs of the seniors in Bristol. The Parks and Recreation Department and the Planning Department were given this goal, and we excitedly got together earlier this year, and we decided our first part of meeting this goal would be to listen. And we thought the best way to hear what the people in Bristol thought, what their thoughts were, would be to have a survey, to ask questions. What do Bristol seniors and citizens, what do they think? How do they feel about living in Bristol? How do they feel about where they live in Bristol? How would they like to live in Bristol? What do they do in Bristol? What would they like to do in Bristol? So we have developed a survey asking questions along those lines. We thought as a group about what are the different aspects of life, and we came up with a group of elements of life they work for all people of all ages. And these elements of life are things like your housing, your health and recreation, your social participation, things like that. So we try to ask questions along all of these different these elements of life, so that just all parts of different people, their lives, they can answer questions about their entire lives. And so hopefully we will receive information about all elements of the lives of the seniors of Bristol. And the people that are to take this survey are both seniors in Bristol, as well as their families and their caregivers.
Oh, that's great. So everyone can have a little bit of input,
Yeah.
which will be fantastic when you gather all the results. And the nice thing about this survey too is it is online. So for all of our tech savvy families and seniors, you can jump online, but there's also paper copies around town as well if you want to just take the time and fill it out that way. When will you kind of close this survey?
We hope to close at the end of the month. Hopefully we will receive enough, there will be enough information gathered by the end of May that we'll be able to really receive that information and see the people have spoken in Bristol, and we will see different elements standing out of this is what people think in Bristol.
And so I guess your next step will meet as a committee
Right,
and go through
again.
some of these answers
Yeah.
and come up with a strategy so
And then
that we can.
we'll analyze it and come up with a plan on this is how Bristol might be able to take those and facilitate making Bristol a good place to live.
Yeah, so oftentimes, you know, I don't want to say we forget about our seniors, but sometimes they don't feel like that, you know, they have places to go and a sense of community. There's so much when you're a younger family and involved, so it's so important that we have, you know, everybody's happy in the community.
And Bristol is a multi-generational town, and so we want to really hear them right now, and let's hear what they think right now. Yeah.
That's great. Thank you so much for being on today and for sharing this. Don't forget to take the survey. It will be out at least till the end of May, if not a little bit longer, depending on how many results are sent in. So again, you can fill that survey out. Paper copies are around town and also online. So a couple of ways. Thanks again, Heather, for being on. Stay with us. We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back to Inside Bristol. I have Elise Valencia with me today from the Children's Advocacy Center in Sullivan County. Thank you so much for joining us. And you're really on here to tell us a little bit about some prevention classes that would be good for anybody that have children in their lives.
Right, yes. So my job as the Prevention Education Program Coordinator at the CAC is honestly to get less kids to have to come see my coworkers. So prevention is effective and it works to protect our kids. We offer prevention programs in schools, so for kiddos, but also for adults, because it's really not fair of us to put that responsibility of protecting kids from abuse on the children. It's our job as adults to do that. So we're really excited to have free monthly trainings at the CAC, at least once a month, usually twice, for adults. Anyone in the community is free to come join us.
So how do we find out about these classes and what do they entail?
Sure, so I actually have 3 different classes that I kind of keep on rotation. The main one is called Darkness to Light, Stewards of Children. It's a 2-hour-long course, and it just kind of covers as much as it can in 2 hours about knowing the facts of child abuse and what you can do to prevent it. And if there is suspicion, how do you go about reporting that suspicion? So that one is the best for an introductory. But we also have another program called PEP. It's Protect, Empower, Prevent. And it goes more into more tangible ways to help your kiddos themselves. So we talk a lot about how to instill those safe boundaries in your kids so that they know if somebody's maybe crossing the line, they know right from wrong, and it really helps you to open those lines of communications with your kids as well, so if there is a problem, that they would feel comfortable talking to you about it. So that one's really cool as well. They're all 2 hours long. And the third one is about commercial sexual exploitation of children, which is really interesting, and I didn't realize until I started this job how that is an issue that we have in our community.
Absolutely.
And that people may not really realize that. And so it's really cool to kind of see that and know that it's going on here, but also that we can help prevent it. The vast majority of victims of commercial sexual exploitation have been abused in the past in their childhood. So if we can prevent that child abuse, we can also prevent the human trafficking as well.
You definitely have a very, very big job here, and we really appreciate everything you do. So if someone is interested in one of these courses, what's the best way for them to get information?
Sure, I have all of the trainings up until December posted online on our website. It is cacsctn.org. You can go there, and there's a little training button at the top, and you can see all of the trainings that we have to offer.
And you just click on that and sign up, and are there costs involved with all of this?
No, it's all free. Okay. And if you have a bigger group that wants to come, I'll actually travel to you.
Oh, so, okay, great. And you'll go anywhere in the Tri-Cities, or do you just stay more in the Sullivan County area?
In Sullivan County.
Awesome. Thank you very much for being on today. Thank you for joining us today. We'll see you next time.